Hello there, movie fans, and welcome to More Movies Weekly, number 48.
You've got 48 hours.
Hey there, welcome to the show. My name's Greg Fisher. His name is David Roberts, and in this podcast, we like to talk about the movies we've been watching, all things cinema, films, that kind of thing. How you doing, Dave?
I'm bloody well, sir. I'm bloody well. How are you?
I'm not too bad myself, my friend. Have you been up to anything fun this week?
Well, we went to watch a film, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We went to the cinema and we seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Yeah, the new Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. We went to a private screening, did we not?
We did. A special invite-only private screening we signed up for. A company called See It First. They held a special private screening, I think, to gauge audience reaction, because we've had like feedback forms after the fact.
Yeah.
To go and watch the film at the Showcase Cinema.
Thanks very much as well to the Showcase Cinema in Cardiff or Caerphilly or wherever. It's kind of nearer to Caerphilly, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is listed as Cardiff, Caerphilly, Treforest. Hey, it's in South Wales. That's all we know.
And it starts here in Spain, and then it goes under the Bay of Biscay, and then it comes up in South Wales.
Really nice theatre, quite packed out as well. So as this is kind of a comedy film, it was good to watch it with a sort of packed audience, everybody laughing, having a good time together, great atmosphere. That's the kind of thing you want from these sort of experiences. So yeah, I mean, what a crazy film. Let's just talk about briefly what it's about. It's one of those movies where the main actor is playing themselves. So Nicolas Cage, he's at that point in his career where he needs a couple of hits, doesn't he? Or he needs some money, basically. It's always the way. His career's flagging a bit, and he's still obsessed with being this, like, you know, artist, this actor. He's obsessed with movies, cinema. He wants to read for people that want him in the film anyway, where he just doesn't have to audition or any of that, but he wants to do it anyway. He's kind of, in a way, he's going through a little bit of existential crisis, would you say? Is that fair?
Yeah, a bit of an existential midlife crisis. And he's trying to get himself back into himself and become a star again, because he feels like he's weighing in, and he's almost trying too hard.
He is, especially where his young daughter's concerned, because he's got a daughter who's like teenager, 16 years old or 15 or whatever she is, and he's obviously trying too hard with her. He's trying to get her to watch all the movies he loves and do all the things that he loves to do, and she's just a bit like, Dad, cringe. And
stop it, Dad.
So he's having difficulty connecting with her there, and his ex-wife says to him, you know, you need to make more of an effort. She needs a dad. She doesn't need this or you or whatever she says to him. And it's like, So anyway, his agent says to him, look, there's this guy in Mallorca, Spain, who will pay you $1 million to just turn up at his birthday party and schmooze with him and whatnot. And at first he doesn't want to do it, does he? He's like, I don't do that. I'm Nicolas Cage. But it's like, look, you need the money.
You owe $600,000 on your hotel room.
Yeah, he's been living in a hotel for 6 months and he owes them like over $500,000. I thought that was quite funny as well. They like having me, he says.
Yeah. And of course, his best friend, his imaginary friend, which is none other than Nicolas fucking Cage.
That's right. He imagines himself, a younger version of himself, like the Nicolas Cage from Wild at Heart.
Yes. Yeah.
High kicking, crazy. I mean, in them days, that kind of role was spilling into his life as well. Have you ever seen the Wogan interview?
Welcome, Nicolas Cage.
It's so funny. It's such a great interview. I'll put a link to it below because I know it's on YouTube if people want to check out the full thing. We've just played a clip of it there, but it's so funny. My favorite bit of the interview is where he says to Terry Wogan, "You know who you remind me of?" And Wogan goes, "Arnold Schwarzenegger." Brilliant. It's well worth checking out. But back to the movie, he imagines himself talking to himself. It's almost like implying he's got a little bit of a split personality disorder.
Yeah.
So his younger version of himself is this like wild at heart Nicolas Cage, who's like you said, Nicolas fucking Cage, and he's intense and he wants to be the king of the world. And anything that modern day actual Nicolas Cage is considering doing that is not in line with what his alter ego wants, there's going to be trouble. So there's that element to it as well, which was absolutely hilarious. They did a really good job of de-aging him as well, I thought. It was quite subtle.
Yeah.
But,
it was subtle enough, and they kind of thinned him a bit, didn't they, and stuff, and it looked great. It's considering you kind of know it's special effects, it worked.
So he goes to Mallorca, Spain, and when he gets there, he is met by Javi, who is played by Pedro Pascal, who most people will know from The Mandalorian. A great actor, really cool. I first seen him in Narcos, the Netflix series. He's one of the detectives in that. He's really good in that as well. But yeah, he's Javi, and he's like a Nicolas Cage super fan, and he's a rich guy, and he lives in Mallorca, and he wants him over there for the party, celebrate his birthday. But then we find out that Javi is one of the worst gun runners in Europe and is responsible for killing loads of people and all this because, the CIA basically take Nicolas Cage aside, don't they, and say, we're looking at this guy. What are you doing over here? Did you know that he's a gangster, basically? So then you've got Nicolas Cage staying with this guy who is a super fan and is actually writing his own film script, isn't he? And he wants Nicolas Cage to be in it. And they actually become good buddies, don't they? It's like a buddy movie. They become good friends. Yeah. Bloody hilarious what ensues. Some of the stuff, they're looking for inspiration, so they go out into town and they drop acid.
Yeah.
And then they're driving around in Javi's car on acid, coming up with ideas for their script. He's obviously playing a version of himself that's in this crazy adventure that's supposed to be real life, but really just ends up, being like a movie, being all crazy.
Yeah, because obviously they heavily reference the cinematic catalogue of Nicolas Cage and all the different pieces that find their ways into the different funny scenarios that are happening.
Yeah.
Even in just subtle ways. And obviously the superfan Harvey has a kind of his own museum of Nicolas Cage memorabilia from over the years, like the bunny rabbits from
Con Air. He's got this really weird lifelike waxwork figure of him from Face Off with the two guns.
It's grotesque. I'll give you 20,000 for it.
This movie was like a Nicolas Cage superfan's ultimate movie experience, wasn't it?
It is, and I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage over the years. I mean, he's done some terrible stuff, but he's done some absolutely brilliant stuff as well.
Yeah.
And such a variety. And he's such a fun person anyway.
It's funny, like last year, two movies came out for him. One of them was Pig, which is one of the best films he's ever done. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And the other one was Prisoners of the Ghostland, which is one of the worst movies he's ever done. So it just shows you what kind of artist he is. He's, even at this age now, where he's like in his late 50s, he's still making his best and his worst movies. It's like... And then he shows no signs of slowing down with something like this, which I think ranks quite highly in his catalogue,
It does, and he's an artist that is willing to take a challenge. It's willing to try something.
Yeah, and they play on that in the movie as well. The fact that he's always looking for that artistic fulfillment rather than just taking the paycheck and paying his hotel bills.
So it's great fun. It's incredibly funny.
It is.
It's completely silly, but in some ways there's some believability to it, which makes it work in a way.
Yeah.
There's a grounding.
This is a film, though, for movie lovers, I think, isn't it? Because, I think in real life, Nicolas Cage is like a massive movie fan. He actually loves The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and all of these movies that are referenced in it. And so is Javi. but Javi's coming from that background of being like, a Nicolas Cage super fan. So then he's like, when he's getting to know him, he's like, says to him, what are your 3 favorite movies? And the first one he says is something like Face Off. And Nicolas Cage's like, oh, thank you very much. And then he's like, Paddington 2. He's like, what? Nicolas Cage can't understand it. He's like, I cried all the way through. It's one of the best films ever made. And then they sit down and watch it together, and Nicolas Cage is crying and really enjoying it. And it's like, what a reference putting in there, Paddington 2. So it is brilliant.
And we turned to each other really and said, well, that's exactly kind of how we came upon Paddington, thinking, oh, it's Paddington, it's going to be a kid's film. And then we, were convinced by others to watch it, watched it, and we're like, wow,
it's brilliant.
It is an amazing film. Yeah.
It is, and it is. They both are, Paddington 1 and 2, brilliant films.
Yeah.
But the fact that they reference that in it, that's the kind of thing you can, enjoy in this movie. Really, really funny. Over the top. It's got action in it. It's got loads of laughs. It was great to be sitting amongst that many people, everybody laughing. Forgot what that experience feels like, and it's such a joyous thing, 200 strangers all laughing at this crazy film,
It was. I thought the same thing because it's been a while since I've seen a comedy at the cinema.
Yeah.
And it is a unique experience you're laughing with other people. It brings that energy to it and makes you laugh at stuff more. And so it worked really well. And I thought the pairing, Cage and Pascal together,
they were brilliant.
Fantastic. What a great idea. If you want to laugh, this is a film to watch. I think that's...
Yeah. If you want a good laugh, go and see it. And if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, you have to see it. You got to see this one. It's like the ultimate Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, definitely, because I think it's just not too complicated in itself. It doesn't overthink it. It just is, and it kind of works for people on a very base level, I think.
Yeah, crazy adventure. Made me want to go back to Mallorca for sure. Beautiful place. Maybe not to stay with a gun runner and his.
Maybe not
in his compound.
Getting hired by MI5 to hunt someone out. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to good laugh or Nicolas Cage fans. It's a thumbs up from me for sure.
On the subject of Nicolas Cage, obviously many great films over the years, and one of our favourites, I guess, would be Face Off. Absolute classic.
It was definitely one of Javi's favourites.
It is indeed. The news coming out this week is apparently a sequel. Face Off 2 is in the works. It's not very clear at the moment whether both Cage and Travolta would return.
Well, Cage died in the first one.
Wow. But they could use his face.
Yeah, they could. It is the world of movies. They could do whatever they want.
That's it. But there's been talk and phone calls, and they're starting to get together the idea of coming back to it. And I thought it'd be quite interesting of all the films. It's the one you perhaps could go back to, and if the two of them were to come back and do what they did. I mean, I'm not so sure with Travolta these days. He's a little bit doesn't do much really, does he? But it was fun, and it might be fun again if they did it right. But
well, never count out John Travolta, because look at the comeback from Pulp Fiction onwards.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know myself though. I don't know whether I want to see a sequel of Face Off. I kind of like that film as it is. It's one of those John Woo classics that's like, it's a full circle story as well. To come back to it would be just maybe for the sake of it. I don't know, but never say never. It might be a lot of fun. They might do something interesting with it. But that's strange that of all of the films he's done, it's that one that they're coming back with. Because if they do it, for me, that's what you need. You need John Travolta, you need Nicolas Cage, and you need John Woo as well.
Yeah,
to direct it,
definitely.
But that
see what happens.
The Cage performance in that original film is off the charts. Hilarious.
It is off the charts. Yeah, it's something else.
His face.
In other movie news, did you see they were trying to cancel Bill Murray?
Cancel Bill Murray?
Bummer.
Well, I don't know if they're trying to cancel him, but according to the LA Times, Bill Murray allegedly behaved inappropriately on his latest film. It's not new territory, is what the article says. It goes on to list all the times that he has fell out with people on set, but this was for a film called Being Mortal, which he is involved with at the moment. A film adaptation of Surgeon Atwell Gawande's best-selling book of the same name. Also stars Aziz Ansari, Kiki Palmer, and Seth Rogen. Production was suspended this week, and the blame has been put on Bill Murray for
Bill.
Inappropriate behaviour. That's a bit of a mad one, isn't it? Because, as I say, the article goes on to list all the times he's fell out with people like Lucy Liu on the set of Charlie's Angels. He was accused by Richard Dreyfuss of being a drunken Irish bully, I remember him saying, when they did What About Bob together. There are a few other times that he's been cited as falling out with people. But what do you make of all this? Is Bill Murray heading into Chevy Chase waters?
I don't give a crap.
Probably. I mean, he's kind of been like a bit of a Chevy over the years anyway, as he's got older. Like many from that era, they just become grumpy old curmudgeons and they become difficult to work with. So, we're possibly heading into that territory. I think it's one of the things now that stars can be difficult to work with on set. That's always been it's been a historical thing, hasn't it? There's always been moments, but now it's become a thing that if they are like that, it's being pulled up.
Yes, being highlighted.
It's been highlighted and it's been taken seriously.
I suppose it depends what it is. But
that's it.
I mean,
it's depending on how far it is.
Chevy Chase was one of the people that they cite in it because they apparently had a fight over the whole Saturday Night Live thing because Bill replaced Chevy in the second season, I think, or first season, somewhere there. There's some story behind it. McGee, who was the director of Charlie's Angels, said that Murray once headbutted him. And he said, an inch later, my nose would have been obliterated. It's a passionate industry. Oh my God! Imagine that.
I think it's an interesting, wasn't it? Because I think it's true. It's how it depends on what it is. People arguing and disagreeing. There's varying scales of that, and in a way, it is true. Some of the best artistic people, and we're not just talking actors here. We're talking about artists, musicians, and people who are creative. Often have these kind of strange. Personality quirks. I don't get on with people in all kinds of various ways. And so you kind of have to expect it a little bit, that there's going to be tension or possibly might be tension and stuff like that. Everyone can't be great friends all the time. And sometimes it's for the betterment of the film that there's a tension, there's something there to make it work. But, you don't really want it turning into them kicking the shit out of each other, So,
or just being plain old nasty, you know what I mean? And swearing at people and headbutting people and stuff like that. It doesn't sound good. I think a lot of the times it does come down to personality. And unfortunately, I think for Bill Murray, this entitled kind of, I'm Bill Murray, I can get away with anything, is, like you said, that people are not standing for it anymore and he's getting called out for it.
Yeah,
possibly a bit of that.
There's also the kind of the person who is the recipient of so-called the other side of the disagreement. The other person. It also depends on their character as well, because some people are very good at dealing with that and can almost use it as a thing to make them be better at something or fuel and so. Where some people just can't take anything at all on the other end of the spectrum, where even just someone telling them to off is enough for them to go, ooh, And so it's very difficult to go, oh, it's one simple thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And you don't want to lose the kind of passion. And
well, look at that with Richard Dreyfuss saying he was had problems with him on the set of What About Bob? Well, he has also been one of the ones that's been noted as difficult to work with over the years. So
that's it.
What you need is like definitive evidence. Like I'm thinking of Christian Bale with the whole thing with the lights. Even some people were saying even that was taken out of context. But what I mean is if they get caught on tape or on film in some form or another, showing this behavior, then there's no denying it then. But otherwise, it can turn into, well, he said, she said, and you just don't know who to believe.
Well, that's it. And there's lots of that goes on generally, I think, where such and such did this. Well, you got any evidence of such a thing? It's kind of difficult to say or do anything without someone saying, "Oh, well, here's the proof of it," because it is tit for tat otherwise. Yeah. And you kind of then wonder what the person's reason for saying such a thing is.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw last year where we agreed with someone kicking off, of course, Tom Cruise on set when people weren't wearing masks, and he went off on that massive rant, and of course we said, well, rightly bloody so. It's people's safety.
I think that was a bit different as well. It's not like he was being abusive. He was just telling people off. He was just being Tom Cruise. People expect the best.
That's it. But of course, some people took that away, as they always do in the media, and went, "Oh, it's terrible." Kicking out. And you think, well, no, there's a reason. And sometimes there is a reason. Then so
sure,
yeah, complicated. But old Bill seems to be in deep water. And also this week, they've announced the Walk of Fame class of 2022. The big headline coming out that James Hong is going to be getting a star. Of course, most famous for his role in Big Trouble in Little China.
What about Kung Fu Panda? he's Poe's dad, isn't he?
He is.
I love him in that. No, he's
big role there.
Done a lot of films, James Hong. A lot of films. Lots
of big and small roles over the years. Yeah. So he's finally getting a star on the Walk of Fame. 93 years old he is now.
Is he? Oh my God!
Well deserved.
Yeah, you'd think he would have had one before now.
This comes after a big spearheaded effort from Daniel Day Kim, fellow actor, to raise the necessary money, because it's $55,000 to kind of get the funds to get the star together. So that was all raised on like
that's nothing in Hollywood, though.
It isn't, but
unless you're James Hong or somebody who's just like
maybe not got as much money over the years as some other stars, but
I seen last month they gave one to Francis Ford Coppola, and I thought he hasn't got one already after all these years.
Shocking, isn't it?
It is shocking considering some of the people who have got them. Like Godzilla has got a star. It's not even a real person. It's like Godzilla's got a star on Hollywood Boulevard, but Francis Ford Coppola hasn't. What kind of crazy industry is this?
Fucking crazy.
I know Godzilla's done more films than Francis Ford Coppola, but I don't think that's how it works.
It's quality, not quantity, okay?
Yeah.
Some other names this year, we've got Bob Odenkirk is going to be added to the stars.
What about Barb?
Carrie Fisher is getting one.
Oh, posthumous one. They must. That's a shame. It's a shame that they give them out.
Afterwards,
yeah, because I'm glad she's getting one, but at the same time, you would have thought.
I'm surprised she hadn't got one already. That was it. It's a bit odd.
So it starts to make you think. Looking into who has and who hasn't. Maybe next week we'll do a guess who has and guess who hasn't. And I'll put a list together, and you'll have to guess if they've got a star.
If they've got one or not. Yeah,
we'll do that next week.
Michael B. Jordan is getting one, which I find a little strange. He's a bit
young. He is. I mean, he's great, but he's only done a couple of films. And James Hong, 93 years old, probably 93 films under his belt or something like that, and he's only just getting one. Crazy.
Macaulay Culkin is getting one.
Yay!
Deserved, I would say.
Well, he is a great child actor. Have you seen many films he's in while he's an adult? I haven't.
No, But that's probably, good kind of time. Like, kind of, he's a bit retired now, and not
retired at the ripe old age of 44, whatever he is.
We've got Willem Dafoe is getting one.
Yeah,
which is
my man,
richly deserved.
Love
Willem
Dafoe. He's great.
And we've also got Regina King getting one.
Great. Yeah, she's doing good.
Jason Momoa, which again is a bit early.
Well, considering Francis Ford Coppola only got one last year, and they're giving them out to Michael B. Jordan and Jason Momoa, it's like, how does this work?
That's it. I think it's the same thing of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you look at people who are in that and people who aren't, and you kind of go, "This makes no sense," And so,
right.
I know in the same with the WWE and the rest in their Hall of Fame, and sometimes you see like people like celebrities going in, like rappers and stuff, when big stars of the past are still not in, and you kind of go, "What?" So it's odd.
Very strange. Have you got a star on there yet, David Roberts?
Not yet, but I'm starting to GoFundMe to raise.
Still saving up the $55,000.
If you want to make a donation,
yeah, I'll put a $5 in for you.
I don't know what the rules are around getting in, but yeah,
certainly be worth looking at. Like I say, we'll pick it up next week and we'll have a look at who has and who hasn't. But
who hasn't, definitely
crazy. That just leaves us enough time to tell you what else we've been up to on the internet this week on our website and here on our YouTube channel. We have a reaction to Thor, Love and Thunder, the new trailer for the forthcoming Marvel movie starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and a whole host of other stars, directed by Taika Waititi. So if you want to see us react to that trailer, there is a link in the description below. We also have another review up, which is Dead Poets Society. That's on the website and here on the YouTube channel. Again, link in the description below. And Dave has written a very good article on our website, The 7 Worst Sequels Ever Made. There is some absolute stinkers in that list, Dave. If you want to see what Dave selected for this list, then check it out. Again, there's a link in the description below.
Absolutely. If you would like to listen to us in audio-only format, perhaps you're cooking in the kitchen or you're going for a walk, remember we're on all the major podcast platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. We have a link in the description down below with all the information about that.
And why not join us on social media? We are at More Movies For You on most of the platforms. Come and say hello to us over there on Twitter or have a live chat with us on Discord. Why not? I mean, we're there. We're sitting here. We're waiting to hear from you. Come and tell us what your worst sequels ever made were. Again, all the links are in the description below.
Absolutely. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and would like to support us, you can, of course, like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. Or you can make us a monetary donation, buy us a little coffee, buy us a little latte at buymeacoffee.com. The link is in the description down below. We also have a Patreon where you can subscribe and then you can vote on films which we discuss, films that we review, and see some extra hidden content.
Thanks very much to everybody who does support us over there on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. We're really grateful for your donations and your support with likes, retweets, all that stuff.
You're a good man, Joe. Thanks a bunch.
I think that's it for this week, Dave. I think we're cut there. And we'll pick it back up again next week for number 49. What say you, sir?
Sounds good.
Okay, go and get yourself a coffee and we'll start working on that star for Hollywood Boulevard for you.
Excellent.
Well, that's it for this video. Please leave us a comment and let us know what you thought. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe right here on YouTube. To check out more of our articles and reviews, check out our website, moremovies.co.uk. And why not join us on social media? That's at More Movies For You across the board. You know the score. And if you'd like to support us, consider buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, or you can become a More Movies patron over on patreon.com. All the links are in the description below. And to check out more of our filmtastic videos, click one of the buttons on screen now.